Your soulmate is hiding a truth that will change your life. Don't ignore this sign, and before you scroll, before you tell yourself this is just another dramatic line meant to catch your attention, pause for a moment and notice what you felt when you read it, because that feeling was not random, it was not accidental, it was recognition, and recognition only happens when something inside you already knows the story that is unfolding, because somewhere right now your soulmate is carrying a truth so powerful that even they are afraid of how deeply it could shift both of your lives, and you have sensed it for a while now. Haven't you? That strange tension in the air between you, that unspoken weight in conversations, that look they give you when they think you are not paying attention, the way their energy lingers even when their words hold back, because this is not a surface-level connection, this is not casual curiosity or temporary attraction, this is something that has been building quietly, intensely, beneath layers of pride, fear, timing, and hesitation, and the reason it feels confusing at times is because when emotions are this deep, people often try to control them instead of express them, and your soulmate has been trying to control something that refuses to stay contained, something that grows stronger every time they think of you, every time they replay your conversations in their mind, every time they imagine a future and realize you are always somehow there in it, because the truth they are hiding is not small, it is not a simple admission of missing you, it is the realization that you are not temporary in their life, that you are not a phase, not an option, not a coincidence, but a turning point, and turning points are terrifying, because they demand decisions, they demand courage, they demand stepping into vulnerability without guarantees, and vulnerability is the one thing most people are trained to avoid, especially when they have been hurt before. Especially when they have built walls carefully over time, and your soulmate has built walls. Not because they do not care, but because they care more than they are comfortable admitting, and that level of care changes everything, it raises the stakes, it makes every interaction feel heavier with meaning, and you have felt that weight, you have noticed the way they sometimes pull back right when things start feeling too real, because reality is harder to hide from than fantasy, and fantasy allows distance, but reality demands presence. And presence requires honesty, and honesty is exactly what has been brewing beneath the surface of this connection, waiting for the right moment to emerge, and lately you may have felt a shift inside yourself too, a strange calm mixed with anticipation, as if your intuition is whispering that something significant is approaching, and intuition does not speak loudly, it does not create chaos, it creates knowing, quiet, steady knowing that something is aligning behind the scenes, and alignment is powerful because it means both energies are moving toward the same point even if neither person fully sees it yet, and your soulmate has been moving toward that point slowly, wrestling with doubts, confronting fears, questioning whether they are ready to admit what their heart already understands, because once they speak this truth, there is no going back to pretending this is casual, there is no returning to emotional safety nets, it becomes real, undeniably real, and real love changes routines, it changes priorities, it changes plans, it requires integration into daily life instead of existing only in imagination, and integration is where fear often appears, because integrating someone into your future means risking loss, risking rejection, risking change, and yet, despite all those risks, they keep circling back to you in their thoughts, in their energy, in their decisions, because when someone feels destined, distance does not erase them, it magnifies their presence, and you may have noticed that no matter how much time passes, the connection never truly weakens, it only pauses, it only waits, and waiting does not mean ending. Sometimes waiting means preparing for a version of both of you that can handle the depth without running from it, and you have been preparing too, even if you did not consciously realize it. You have grown stronger in your self-worth, you have learned to detach from outcomes, you have stopped begging for clarity and started expecting it naturally, and that shift in you is significant, because when you no longer chase, you create space for truth to come forward on its own, and truth always surfaces when the environment is ready to receive it, and the environment is ready now, energetically, emotionally, spiritually. And you might notice signs increasing around you, repeating patterns, sudden memories, dreams that feel vivid and symbolic, unexpected reminders of them appearing in small daily moments, because the universe often mirrors internal shifts with external synchronicities. And synchronicities are confirmations that something unseen is moving into visibility, and visibility is what this connection has been approaching for a long time, because hiding truth becomes exhausting eventually. Carrying feelings in silence becomes heavier than expressing them, and your soulmate is reaching that threshold where silence no longer protects them, it only burdens them, and once that realization fully lands, expression follows. Naturally, not forced, not dramatic, but inevitable, like water finding its path after being blocked for too long. And when that expression finally happens, you will recognize it instantly. Not because of the exact words they use, but because of the energy behind them. It will feel grounded, steady, intentional, not rushed or reactive, but conscious, and conscious. Confession is powerful, because it comes from clarity rather than impulse, and clarity is what transforms intense connection into lasting direction, and this is not just about hearing, "I care about you," it is about hearing, "I see you in my future," it is about acknowledgement that what exists between you is rare and worth choosing, and choice is the most life-changing part of love, because feelings can exist silently for years, but choice turns feeling into action, into commitment, into shared path, and shared path changes life, it reshapes decisions, influences goals, aligns plans, and that is why this hidden truth is so significant, because once it is spoken, your world will not look the same, uncertainty will dissolve, hesitation will fade, and you will step into a dynamic that feels mutual instead of confusing, steady instead of inconsistent, intentional instead of accidental, and you deserve that shift. You have earned it through patience, through growth, through resisting the urge to force what was not ready. And now readiness is arriving naturally, without pressure, without manipulation, simply through internal evolution on both sides, and evolution cannot be rushed, but once it reaches maturity, it cannot be stopped either, and that is where this connection stands now, on the edge of revelation, on the brink of transformation, and the only thing left is courage, courage from them to speak, courage from you to receive without retreating into fear, because sometimes when we finally get what we have been waiting for, fear tries to convince us it is too good to trust, but trust is exactly what will anchor this new chapter. Trust in your intuition. Trust in divine timing, trust in the growth you have both experienced separately, because separate growth creates strong union, and strong union changes lives not through chaos but through clarity, and clarity is coming, closer than you think, moving quietly toward you. Preparing to shift everything you thought you understood about this connection, and when it finally arrives, you will realize that every delay had purpose, every silence had preparation. Behind it, every confusing moment was simply the space needed for truth to become undeniable, and now it is undeniable, now it is rising, now it is ready to step into the light. And when it does, your life will not just change dramatically, it will change meaningfully. Intentionally, in a way that feels aligned rather than accidental, and you will look back at this very moment and understand that this was the sign you were told not to ignore, and when you look back at this exact phase of your life months from now, you will realize that this was the silent turning point, the invisible bridge between confusion and clarity, because what is unfolding right now is not random emotion, it is destiny aligning itself with precision, and destiny never rushes, it calculates, it arranges, it removes what is not aligned and strengthens what is meant to remain, and that is exactly what has been happening behind the scenes of your connection, even in moments when it looked like nothing was moving. Everything was moving, energies were shifting, lessons were integrating, fears were surfacing to be healed, because before two souls can unite at a higher level, they must individually confront the shadows that would otherwise sabotage that union, and your soulmate has been confronting those shadows quietly, perhaps without even telling you. Battling insecurities that whisper they are not ready, questioning whether they deserve something this deep, this real, this transformative, because the truth they are hiding is not just love, it is awareness that you are the person who has changed them without trying to. You are the mirror that exposed their emotional depth, the presence that made them rethink their future, the connection that challenged their old patterns of detachment or fear, and change is uncomfortable before it becomes empowering, and they have been sitting in that discomfort, processing it slowly, because when you realize someone could be your forever, it shakes the foundation of every temporary mindset you once had, it forces you to evaluate your habits, your lifestyle, your priorities, and your willingness to step into something mature. Something intentional, something that requires consistency instead of impulsive intensity. And that evaluation takes time, especially for someone who is used to protecting their heart. But protection can only last so long when truth keeps knocking from within, and that truth has been persistent, louder in quiet moments, stronger in absence, clearer every time they try to distract themselves and fail, because no distraction has replaced the depth they feel with you, no substitute has matched the resonance of your conversations, the comfort of your energy, the intensity of your eye contact, and that realization has been humbling for them. Because it means this is not casual, it is not replaceable, it is not something they can simply walk away from without consequence, and consequences of ignoring soulmate energy are internal. They show up as regret, as longing, as the constant thought of, what if, and your soulmate is tired of living in, what if. They are slowly shifting toward, what now, and, what now, is where courage begins, because asking what now means they are considering action, considering stepping forward instead of staying frozen in uncertainty, and you may feel this shift energetically before it becomes visible. You may wake up with a stronger sense of connection, feel sudden waves of emotion that do not seem triggered by anything external, or experience moments where their presence feels almost tangible even if they are physically distant, because energetic cords between soulmates strengthen when truth approaches expression, and you are both approaching that threshold now, the threshold where honesty becomes unavoidable, where feelings become too significant to minimize, where pretending indifference feels like self-betrayal, and once someone reaches that internal tipping point, the outer world begins to reflect it quickly. Opportunities for conversation appear unexpectedly, misunderstandings clear themselves up naturally, timing aligns in ways that feel almost orchestrated, because divine timing activates once both souls are prepared, and preparation has been the theme of this entire journey. Preparation through separation, preparation through confusion, preparation through growth, and growth has transformed you too. You are no longer the version of yourself that would accept breadcrumbs. You are no longer willing to settle for mixed signals or emotional half-effort. You have elevated your standards quietly, you have built inner stability, you have learned that your value does not decrease simply because someone else hesitates, and that inner upgrade is crucial, because soulmate unions require equality, not imbalance. They require two whole individuals choosing each other consciously, not one chasing while the other runs. And the running phase is ending, because they are realizing that running only leads back to you, that distance only amplifies your significance, that silence only intensifies what remains unresolved, and unresolved love is heavier than expressed love, and they are ready to release that weight, ready to speak, ready to claim, even if their voice shakes slightly at first. Because bravery does not mean absence of fear, it means action despite fear, and action is forming inside them steadily, like a decision solidifying layer by layer, and once that decision is complete, nothing will stop it, not pride, not ego, not past wounds, because clarity dissolves excuses, and clarity has been building in their heart every time they imagine life without fully embracing this connection and realize it feels incomplete, and incompleteness is a powerful motivator. It pushes people to confront what they have been avoiding, and they have been avoiding admitting how deeply you matter, not because it is untrue, but because it is overwhelmingly true, and overwhelming truth requires emotional maturity to handle, and maturity has been developing in both of you through this waiting period, because waiting teaches patience, patience teaches strength, and strength prepares you for stability, and stability is what is coming next. not chaotic passion that burns out quickly, but grounded partnership that grows stronger over time, and that is the life-changing aspect of this hidden truth. It is not a fleeting confession, it is the beginning of aligned direction, aligned goals, aligned emotional investment, and once alignment is spoken aloud, everything begins shifting rapidly but smoothly, like gears finally locking into place. Conversations about the future become natural instead of intimidating, planning feels exciting instead of overwhelming, and mutual reassurance replaces anxious speculation, and you will feel safe in a way you may not have experienced before, safe not because there are guarantees, but because there is transparency, and transparency eliminates the need for guessing, and guessing has been the most exhausting part of this journey for you, hasn't it? The analyzing, the wondering, the questioning whether you were reading too much into small signs, but you were never reading too much, you were sensing too accurately before the situation caught up to your intuition, and now reality is catching up, slowly but undeniably, and the only thing required from you in this final stage is faith, faith that what is meant will not miss you, faith that truth cannot stay hidden forever when it is rooted in genuine emotion, faith that you are deserving of a love that is chosen loudly and clearly, not ambiguously, and that faith will anchor you as the final pieces fall into place, because sometimes right before breakthrough, doubt intensifies as a test, as a final challenge asking whether you trust what you feel more than what you fear, and your answer to that challenge will shape how smoothly this next chapter unfolds. So choose trust, choose openness, choose steadiness over panic, because the revelation that is approaching is not here to destabilize you, it is here to ground you, not to confuse you, but to confirm you, and once it is fully expressed, you will see that every delay was divine design, every pause was protection, every silence was space needed for growth, and growth has brought you both to this moment, this ultra-pro, once-in-a-lifetime turning point where hidden truth transforms into spoken destiny, and destiny transforms into shared future, and when that future begins, you will not feel chaos, you will feel alignment so strong it quiets every past doubt instantly, and you will know without hesitation that this was always meant to unfold exactly this way, at exactly this time, and this time, nothing is stopping it, and this is the final phase, the chapter where everything that felt suspended in uncertainty finally descends into reality, because destiny does not circle forever, it arrives. And what has been circling between you and your soulmate is now reaching its landing point. The moment where silence loses its grip and truth takes its rightful place, and you can probably feel it in the air already, that strange stillness before something significant happens. That calm that feels almost sacred, because when life is about to shift in a meaningful way, it often grows quiet first, as if the universe itself is holding its breath, preparing to witness two paths merge intentionally instead of accidentally, and this merge is not impulsive, it is not built on temporary emotion, it is the result of growth, of lessons learned separately, of mistakes acknowledged privately, of realizations processed deeply, because your soulmate has not been idle during this time, they have been reflecting more than you know, replaying your conversations, analyzing their own reactions, confronting the fear that once kept them guarded, and slowly understanding that the only thing more frightening than vulnerability is regret, and regret has been whispering to them louder recently, reminding them that opportunities like this do not appear twice in the same form, that connections like this are rare, that losing something destined because of pride would be a wound far deeper than risking honesty, and that realization changes a person. It shifts their internal compass from avoidance to action, from hesitation to determination, and determination is what is forming inside them now, a quiet but powerful resolve that says it is time to stop pretending indifference, time to stop minimizing what feels monumental, time to stop allowing fear to dictate decisions, because fear kept them safe once, but now it is keeping them stuck, and they are tired of being stuck, tired of replaying the same mental debate, tired of wondering how you feel while ignoring how strongly they feel, and once someone grows tired of their own avoidance, transformation becomes inevitable, and that inevitability is the energy surrounding this connection now. It feels like the final chapter before revelation, the last stretch before clarity breaks through completely, and you have sensed that shift too, haven't you? That deeper awareness that something is aligning beneath the surface, that your intuition feels steadier instead of chaotic, that instead of obsessing you are observing, instead of chasing you are allowing, and that shift in you is significant because it signals readiness to receive without fear, readiness to stand in your worth without shrinking, readiness to accept truth without questioning whether you deserve it, because you do deserve it. You deserve clarity, you deserve intentional love, you deserve someone who chooses you consciously rather than accidentally drifting into your life, and your soulmate is stepping toward that conscious choice now, even if the final words have not yet left their lips. The decision has already begun forming in their heart, and decisions are powerful long before they are spoken. They shape behavior subtly at first. You may notice more consistency, more softness, more intentional communication, perhaps even a vulnerability that feels unfamiliar yet sincere, and when that vulnerability appears, it will not be dramatic, it will be real, steady, grounded, and you will recognize it immediately because your soul has been waiting for it patiently. And when they finally express the truth fully, when they admit that you are not just someone they care about but someone they see woven into their future, it will not feel shocking, it will feel confirming, like hearing something you already knew but needed spoken aloud, and that confirmation will release a weight you did not even realize you were carrying. The weight of uncertainty, the weight of guessing, the weight of silently hoping while pretending not to, and once that weight lifts, everything between you will shift into a new dimension, a dimension where plans are discussed openly, where reassurance is mutual, where effort is balanced, where love feels safe instead of suspenseful, and safe does not mean boring, it means secure, it means knowing where you stand, it means not questioning whether you matter, and that security is life-changing because it allows you to grow together rather than anxiously cling to potential, and potential is powerful but exhausting when it remains unrealized, and now potential is turning into reality, step by step, word by word. choice by choice, and you will see that every delay had purpose, every moment of confusion strengthened your patience, every silence built emotional resilience inside you, and that resilience is what allows you to step into this new chapter without fear of losing yourself, boundaries, elevated your standards, deepened your self-awareness, and soulmate unions. Thrive when both individuals are whole, not when one is incomplete and searching, and you are no longer searching, you are aligned with your worth, aligned with your intuition. Aligned with the understanding that what is meant for you cannot pass you by, and this connection has never passed you by, it has only matured slowly until both hearts were ready. And readiness is here now, standing quietly at your door, waiting for you to open it fully. Without hesitation, and when you do, when both of you step forward honestly and intentionally, the shift will feel almost surreal, like stepping into a version of your life you glimpsed in dreams but were not sure would materialize, and yet here it will be, tangible, grounded, mutual, and in that moment you will realize that destiny is not loud, it is precise. It is patient, it unfolds at exactly the right time when growth meets courage, and growth and courage have finally met in this story, and this is the last stretch of waiting, the final seconds before truth transforms everything, and once it does, there will be no returning to confusion. No slipping back into ambiguity, only forward movement, steady and intentional, toward a future built not on guessing but on choosing, not on fear but on faith, and you will look back at this entire journey and understand that nothing was wasted, nothing was random. Everything was preparation for this exact union at this exact moment, and now, finally, the hidden truth is no longer hiding. The silence is no longer protecting, the hesitation is no longer winning, because love, real love, courageous love, has stepped into the light, and this time, it is staying.